I think I've talked about why there are people coming over the border to the United States of America many times over. People understand that at this point. People are trying to escape the dire economic situation that they're forced to live in many instances. A lot of those awful economic circumstances were manufactured by human beings, i.e., the United States of America. Um, you know, that's why they're trying to come here. A lot of them are escaping rape and horrific kinds of violence, and many have valid claims for asylum seeking in the country. Of course, there are two ways to deal with this. One is the way that we're dealing with it, which is like increasing the dial of violence that these people are subjected to as we desperately dehumanize them, even though they are simply human beings just like you and I that are looking for a better alternative to their form of existence. And then there's the other way to deal with it, which is what we're not doing, which is to allow them safe passage and an opportunity to become productive members of society without constantly living in fear that the government will come and rip them away from their friends, family, and their current mode of existence once they are able to successfully cross the border and start a life here. Now, the reason why we don't do the second thing and the reason why we do the first thing is because, well, this might come as a surprise to you, but it's money. Give money. Do ya? Money. That's the reason why we do that, because corporations make money off of undocumented labor. They find it to be much, much more favorable to their profit margins when they're able to utilize a group of individuals that are the permanent underclass, that are not protected legally by the systems, even though the American, I can't stop doing the Yilong Ma money thing, okay? I can't. People are not going to know where that's from, and they're going to cancel you. I mean, it doesn't even sound like I'm making a Chinese accent, so it would be hard for people to think I'm doing a xenophobic accent. You know what I mean? It's like a H3 soundbite that's stuck in my fucking mind. It does. Don't down people. Okay, well, regardless, I am China's strongest, bravest warrior. Anyone who thinks I'm being xenophobic can suck my dick. There is no man on this planet that loves China as much as I do. Please don't make me play the song. Okay, let's play the song anyway, though. That's right. The real reason why the American corporations can get away with this is because you have a permanent underclass of undocumented immigrants that are escaping dire situations back home, coming to the United States of America and working for pennies on the dollar with zero legal protections. Even though the American working class already doesn't have a lot of legal protections. But that's not enough for the corporations that are constantly seeking further profits and, trying to find it wherever they can, specifically with labor. And that's the real reason. So, having said that, knowing all of that, it's kind of a ridiculous conversation to have, the constant back and forth over this idiotic fucking situation, as we seek to justify, further subjugation for these people, who are, again, and I can't stress this enough, regular old people, just like you or I. People with dreams, people with children, people that want to fucking put food on the table and shelter over their and a roof over their heads. Anyway, let's continue.
Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us this morning. Hours since Title 42 expired. What are you seeing at the border right now?
George, thanks for having me. We're seeing precisely the challenge that we expected. We knew this was going to be a difficult transition when Title 42, the public health authority that stemmed from the COVID-19 pandemic, when it ended. And indeed, it ended at 11:59 p.m. last night, and now we are using our immigration authorities, our traditional immigration authorities that deliver tougher consequences for people who cross the border illegally.
Tougher consequences, but right now you have a lot of migrants at the border, limited food, limited water. Could this have been avoided?
George, this is something that we're ready for. We cannot control the movement of people before they reach our border. Our responsibility attaches once they are in our custody. I will tell you, we have made it very, very clear, and we continue.
I love liberalism, dude. I love liberalism. I love liberals so much. They're like, oh yeah, we are ending Title 42 because it was bullshit. But fear not, we're still utilizing Trump's like incredibly nefarious, awful white nativist immigration policy that dictates that you can't like touch another country on your way to the United States of America. Like, yeah, dude, people in fucking Guatemala are like are super fond of like living in Mexico when like people from Mexico are coming to America. You know what I mean? It's such a weird and stupid and counterproductive and racist fucking argument. Especially because it's like, yeah, dog, you're claiming that the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on the motherfucking planet, in the history of the planet, does not have the resources to take care of like, a million migrants coming over the fucking border. But like Mexico does? Bitch, Mexicans are coming here. What the fuck do you mean? Really, dude? No, it's very obvious that it's not about who can take care of these people, and more about who we can threaten financially with tariffs, who we can threaten economically, like Mexico. That's it.
To communicate to migrants that this is not the way.
I do agree with you, but is it that simple? South American population is higher than the USA. If it becomes easy, what happens to 100 million people come suddenly? This is so fucking stupid. Okay? This is stupid. You want to know why it's stupid? It's technically easy for you to leave whatever bumfuck fucking town you live in, but yet you don't do that. Okay? Do you want to know why you don't do that? Because why the fuck do you want to leave? Also, did he say the American population is 100 million? You think 100 million people are going to come to America? Like, the only thing stopping them is that, they have to do paperwork and shit and come through legally, through the legal channels? And it's not that these people aren't coming here. It's that these people are already here. There's more than 10 million, maybe approximately 20 million people that live on U.S. soil right now that simply do not have the legal paperwork and are being treated as a permanent underclass because it is very effective for businesses who want to seek higher profit margins. That's it. The entire agricultural industry in this goddamn nation runs on migrant labor that is treated like fucking shit. It is by design.
To seek relief in the United States. It's extraordinarily dangerous. They are in the hands of ruthless smugglers. We have built lawful, safe, and orderly pathways for them to come to the United States. They are going to meet tough consequences if they arrive at our border irregularly.
What is your reaction to this ruling from a federal judge last night blocking you from releasing more migrants into the U.S. without an order to show up in court?
Georgia, we consider it a very harmful ruling. The practice of releasing individuals when our Border Patrol facilities, when our Border Patrol stations are overcrowded is something that each administration has done from administration to administration. This is a harmful ruling, and the Department of Justice is considering our options.
You see Texas Governor Greg Abbott is starting to send more buses of migrants all across the country right now. He says he's doing it because the administration is not doing its job.
George, it is a very sad and tragic day when a government official uses human beings as pawns to score political points. Objection.
And at this point, how long is the situation going to go on, and is it going to get worse before it gets better?
We have said all along that this period of transition from using a public health authority to our traditional immigration authorities is going to be tough. It's going to be challenging. But we have a plan. We've been executing on our plan. It will take time, but we have confidence that our plan will work.
Yeah, motherfucker said objection, dude. Overruled, bitch. Ace attorney ass motherfucker, dude. Holy shit. Boys, is Phoenix right in the building? Except it's Phoenix wrong, okay? God, liberals are so fucking corny too. On top of all the other awful shit that they do, their biggest crime is being permanently corny, okay? Insanely corny. Just a bunch of fucking cornballs. Yikes.
It has worked in the past.
Secretary Mayorkas, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
Oh, before I forget, here's Senator Ted Cruz berating reporters for pressing him on what he'd done to help improve the immigration system.
Thank you. So what have specifically the Republican members that are here today, what have you all done to help Joe Biden in this year?
Okay. All right, so that's a ridiculous and silly question. I want to commend you for being the media and telling a Democrat policy. So let me ask you something.
Come on, man, that's been going on for 20 years.
Okay, hey.
The reporters said, come on, man. Like, what? It didn't happen yesterday, you fucking piece of shit. What are you doing? What? It's not like a natural disaster, you know? These are fucking human beings. Come on, man. It's been happening for 20 years. Come on.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. What rate of illegal immigration did we have in 2020? Do you know anything? I asked you a question. Do you know anything?
How long have you been in office?
I've been in office 11 years now.
And this has been kicked the count during multiple administrations.
Except you're okay. You don't get to argue with me. You asked your question. You asked your question. You don't get. You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there.
You have multiple
You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there.
How are you?
All right, so hold on. I'm going to answer his question. The talking point of the Democrats, which this media reporter happily parrots, is, gosh, the problem can't be fixed. There's one little problem with that. It is an utter and complete lie. In 2020, the last year of the Trump presidency, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. You ask, what have I done? I've championed the men and women.
Yeah. Because COVID, dog. Like, it fucking restricted movement dramatically. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, yeah. And it wasn't even Title 42, because Title 42 still is in existence now, but immigration went up. That's it. They always use COVID. It's so funny. They're like, whenever Donald Trump says, gas prices were so low, they were so low. It's like, yeah, dude, because COVID, man. Like, what do you mean? You can't use that as like a good reason. It's like me saying, like, oh man, fucking under Donald Trump, Twitch was popping. You know what I mean? In 2020, Twitch was popping. 2021, Twitch was popping. 2022, Twitch was popping. And then the numbers are like decreasing since 2021. It's like it's insane. It's so bad faith. It's so stupid. Yeah, because fucking COVID. That's it.
Women of Border Patrol. I've championed securing the border. I've championed remain in Mexico.
Anyway. Oh, here's the other byproduct of the immigration bill.
South Florida has been home to migrants, and many times they do work that others may not want to do or are able to do. But a new immigration crackdown by the Florida legislature and Governor Ron DeSantis is now making it harder for them to live and work in the state.
And even though the policy is not yet in effect, CBS News Miami's Gabriela Arzola shows us how it has already shaken.
Yeah, 60 to 70% of illegal immigration aren't even border hopping anymore either. This isn't fucking 1993, dog. Okay? That's the other part of it. Like, the majority of immigrants that are undocumented in this country are visa overstayers. They come in via plane. It's not like they're coming through the fucking border either. It's so stupid. And I have no issue with them, and I have no, except for Elon Musk. But I do have an issue with that. We should go back in time and deport his ass. But other than that, like, you know, these are just people, man. They're people.
Taken the undocumented community along with employers they work for.
A recent survey from the Migration Policy Institute says there are around 800,000 undocumented immigrants right here in the state of Florida, many taking jobs like construction and agriculture, but that may not be for long.
Around South Florida, labor workers are becoming more and more scarce by the day, according to some employees.
People aren't showing up to work because they're scared of being deported.
And critics say Senate Bill 1718 is to blame.
None on the desk, Mr. Speaker.
According to the bill, businesses could face up to a $10,000 fine per undocumented employee, and the state could
Yeah, this is what you do if you actually want to fucking take down immigration, by the way, undocumented immigration. I've said this before, and once again, Ron DeSantis is so fucking stupid that he literally looked at like the culture war against Disney and actually tried to like take initiatives against Disney. And Ron DeSantis actually was like, no, yeah, like we got to do something about this undocumented immigration. Instead of just saying it and not doing anything. Hey, fucking dumbass, you're not supposed to do anything. You're so fucking stupid. The entire reason why we play this little song and dance between the Republicans and the Democrats is because you're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to help the corporations, you fucking idiot. You're not supposed to genuinely harm them, and you keep doing it. It's not like Ron DeSantis himself is like an ideological Nazi or anything. I think he's just really fucking stupid. I genuinely think he's just so stupid. He's putting his money where his mouth is. Yeah, except he's not going to have any money any longer if he keeps this shit up. If you do that, you will actually fucking end up hurting businesses. And the entire reason for why... Imagine calling the guy who went to Harvard stupid when your ass went to Rutgers. I mean, I'm a fucking idiot too, but even I'm not stupid enough to recognize that, like, if I was in his shoes, if I was like a fucking psychotic, despotic Republican leader, like the governor of an insane state like Florida, I would not do that. I wouldn't do these things. I would just keep saying, I would keep posturing, but I wouldn't actually act out on the concepts, because the entire reason for that posturing is so you deflect away from the real corporate power. Also, the notion that like someone went to Harvard is smart is really stupid. When George W. Bush, Jared Kushner, did Bush go to Yale? I think Bush went to Yale, not Harvard. But Jared Kushner went to Harvard. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You just, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, Ted Cruz went to Harvard. Listen, Trump went to Penn. I'm going to tell you something. Going to a school like that doesn't imply that you're a smart person. It just means that your parents were wealthy or went to that school. That's usually what that means.
Revoke their license. For construction workers like Jose, he says half of the workers are already gone.
Many workers are leaving thinking they're going to be deported, so they're going to other states.
The bill also includes hospitals. Each facility that accepts Medicaid has to submit that person's immigration status. According to the Florida governor's website, taxpayers paid more than $226 million in health care costs for undocumented.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Here's a fun little trick, by the way. I want to mention something really disgusting that these Republican freaks put forward. The overall cost of healthcare for undocumented migrants is actually very, 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 very small. Okay? They often just have their their emergency room funds covered. They don't usually go to the doctor, like the actual doctor, because, they can't. Because one, it's expensive. Two, they're afraid of getting arrested. And so they just go to the ER and they don't pay because they don't have money. And that's not enough, though. They also pay for it in taxes because they are paying taxes. But that's still not enough for these fucking freaks that want to make it seem like there's this like major cost associated with undocumented immigrants. Okay? So you know what they do? Anytime you hear undocumented immigrants statistics, I'm not sure if this one is doing it, but always check to see if they mean the children of undocumented immigrants and the cost associated with that. Because although many of these children are born in the United States of America, you're full of shit. The ERs in my areas are full of fucking immigrants. Jesus Christ, dude. Wait, first of all, I just mentioned that. Yes, undocumented immigrants can oftentimes only utilize emergency rooms, and studies have been conducted on this, and it's like 0.5% or something, 0.05% of the overall spending on healthcare. Secondly, how do you fucking know that they're undocumented migrants, you little shitbird? What the fuck are you saying? How do you know, dog? Huh? How do you know that they're undocumented migrants in the hospital, in the emergency room? Do you go to the emergency rooms and like demand people's papers? What are you, the fucking Gestapo? How do you know that? I know we banned him, but I would love to know how he figured out that these guys were all, the people in the ER were all undocumented migrants. Why are you in the emergency room all the time, bro? He's like, dude, I keep sucking my own dick, dude. Okay? You don't understand. I got a rib removed to do a self-suck surgery. And it has a lot of health complications. I'm constantly finding myself in the ER. Okay? So many questions I want to ask that guy. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is a lot of these guys will do this incredibly awful and disgusting and racist thing where they make it seem like the children of undocumented immigrants that are born on U.S. soil are not real fucking U.S. citizens and treated as such, and add that into their overall calculation when they're calculating costs. So they'll say like undocumented immigrants cost $3 billion a year. And then you look at it and they're actually factoring in natural born U.S. citizens born on U.S. soil to one undocumented parent. One parent can be undocumented, the other one doesn't have to be. To one undocumented parent, automatically the child rearing and costs that American citizen has is factored into the overall number. Because these guys are fucking disgusting monsters. They're not serious people. They're just fucking awful racists.
Migrants last year. Now, working migrants like Huang say they're being threatened daily.
We are being treated like delinquents. They talk about ICE and police, and everything here is just really uncomfortable right now.
With the tens of thousands of migrants coming through the Texas border, Governor DeSantis says this bill should deter illegal immigrants from coming to Florida. But for those that are already here, like Maria, she says she'll stay, pray, and continue to work to help her family in hopes that she won't be deported.
Working hard to help my family seems impossible, but I just have to pray to God that everything works out.
The bill still needs to be signed by the governor, but once that happens, this law will take effect July 1st. I'm Gabrielle Arzola, CBS News, Miami.
As the Title 42 immigration policy ends on Thursday, the Biden administration is getting ready to introduce sweeping new restrictions for migrants. CBS News has learned that under the new policy, migrants who cross the southern border without authorization will be ineligible for asylum. That's unless they can prove they requested asylum in another country. The rule does not apply to unaccompanied children. Migrants will also need to pass interviews with heightened standards than the ones used today. Those who can't prove they're eligible face deportation and a 5-year banishment from the U.S. The full policy is expected to be published tomorrow.
Yeah. There you go, man. Have fun. No, I mean, have fun. This is like, it's not like these guys are unionized or anything, but they are united on the fear that they don't want to fucking leave the country. So they're just like leaving to go to a different state. There's plenty of jobs that are available to people that are willing to do it for that price point that have no labor protections. And they have to be in a constant fucking permanent state of fear. It's really fucked up. It's so degrading. It's so awful. And worst of all, we have the capacity to take care of them. Except if we did take care of them, if we actually gave them the dignity to work just in the way that they normally do, but with an opportunity to demand higher pay, the opportunity to unionize, even though like the American labor force is not fucking unionizing anyway, that could impact the bottom line of the American corporations. It's great. You know what's not great? CNN. This shows what the take was when it happened in Alabama in 2010.
When only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
Dog, this is the reason why Texas originally would fucking kill cops. Okay? Originally, in ranchers in Texas would go after fucking federal agents when they try to implement the Bracero program, okay? There was a time and place when Texas had a long storied tradition of like actually fucking firing at federal agents who were trying to process undocumented migrants under the Bracero program. And they were doing it not out of the kindness of their heart, mind you. They were doing it because they saw undocumented migrants as a necessary part of their fucking, as a necessary part of their ranching operations, their agricultural output. Straight up. For the record, the United States of America has always had programs like this, whether it be the Bracero program or the Chinese Immigration Exclusionary Act. Like, there have been so many instances where the American law literally will carve out specific rules to continue having an influx of migrants that do not have any sort of legal recourse. It's especially for agricultural production.
Trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers.
I want to see this whole. I want to see this video.
Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
No, there are, for the record. Yeah, Latinos have a slang term for ICE, which is la migra, chinga la migra, which means fuck immigration, where it originally started as a code word to identify ICE agents. Well, originally started, I think, as INS. Even that predates ICE. It's such a weird thing to have in a language. Yeah, pinche migra, chinga la migra. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that there are people that would work. Everyone would work. It's just that you do not have the profit margins if you pay significantly more than like 30 cents a fucking gallon of potatoes. You know what I mean?
Sure. If they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Fernando Aldeman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992.
Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared, you know.
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports
I
immigration.
don't think potatoes are measured in gallons. Man, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? They measure them with like buckets. It's literally like one bucket of potatoes, 30 cents. That's how they do it. And it's not just fucking potatoes either. Anything. Like, I'm talking like most agricultural output is measured by like literally one fucking idiotic metric. And they get paid like nothing.
Laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family farm.
Bushels and
you
baskets.
Want to get rid of illegal immigrants? Quit eating. And that's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating.
Yeah. Let's watch the whole Alabama video.
Alabama's tough new immigration law went into effect today, surviving for now a challenge from the Obama administration and others. The law will allow officials to check the immigration status of students in public schools and give the police new powers to determine whether someone is in the country illegally. A federal judge yesterday upheld those key provisions of the law. Mark Strassman is in Alabama with more about this new law and its impact.
Under Alabama's new immigration law, beginning today, police can question and detain suspected illegal immigrants and hold them without bond. The law's supporters complain the 60,000 people here illegally cost Alabama taxpayers $250 million a year in schools and social services. And Governor Robert Bentley promises enforcement will begin right away.
We have just passed a law that conforms with federal law. And we will see what happens. We expect them to do their job now.
Hasan, are you safe in London? What the fuck? Why the fuck would I not be safe in London, bro? What do you mean? I'm significantly more safe in London than I am in America.
And we'll see if they're going to do it.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin. The loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
Sure. If they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Fernando Aldeman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992.
Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared, you know.
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports immigration laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family farm.
You want to get rid of illegal immigrants?
That's so funny. Oh, dude, he supports stricter border protocols. Yeah, exactly. Just not this one. Oh, I wonder why. Because he wants people to be there so he can fucking enslave them. Duh. That's the point, dude. Also, he's a third-generation farmer, brother. So what happened? Who's your pappy?
Quit eating.
Who's your grandpappy?
That's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating. That'll solve the problem.
Scott, Governor Bentley says Alabama's new law is not about racial profiling and that only people suspected of breaking a law will be asked for their immigration papers.
Mark, I wonder about this provision that allows officials to check the immigration status of students in public schools. Has there been any reaction to that?
Well, put it this way, Scott. Alabama spends an estimated $160 million a year estimating the children of illegal immigrants. We've had reports locally around here that some of those families today worried either kept their children home or pulled them out of school altogether.
Mark, thank you very much.
Surely America will push a law that has nothing to do with racial profiling. Yeah. Wait, this is the after?
They think the work is so hard until they just turn around and they up and quit.
On the farm fields of Alabama, the verdict is in. The state's tough immigration law just isn't working out.
They're putting Alabamans back to work. In my area, experience that I've had, they ain't too good at what they do.
Keith Smith says most immigration workers left after the law took effect. So this potato farmer hired Americans. Problem is, he says, most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field.
There's a Hispanic man that works for us, and I say, he's 52, and he'll make anywhere from $70 to $100 a day. I said, if you can keep up with him and do a good job, you can make that. But they're not physically in shape to do it, and, probably not mentally tough enough to do it, some of them.
Over on this tomato farm, the story's not much different.
The bending over, and if you're not used to working and kneeling down and bending over and constantly up and down all day long is the grueling part of it. It really is. I mean, other than that, it's not any harder than anything else you see with it.
With a 9.9 unemployment rate, Alabama is almost 1% higher than the national average. Tomato farmers say skilled workers can make anywhere from $200 to $300 a day, but unskilled workers make much less. And farmers say many Americans are not physically fit and simply don't work fast enough.
It's just going to take body conditioning, mental conditioning, in order to earn enough money to make it worth a day's work.
Politicians who support the law say over time more unemployed Americans will fill these jobs. They insist it's still too early to consider the law a failure. Nicole Grether, The Associated Press.
Immigrant workers versus local workers.